And hello and good morning. We are here live on Boles.tv, BOLES.tv, television, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Oh, and Gordon's with us today. Lots of chat topics he brought up before the show even started that I will go back in time and read. But this one I'll read right now. You know what else would be smart? If every time you shopped at Amazon, there was a way to say, if you spend over this amount of money, enter the name of a Twitch streamer and you will get a month subscription to them. I like that. And you can also, if you have a Prime subscription, you can subscribe once a month to a live streamer for free as part of your Amazon Prime package. But you can only do it once. That's why I was saying to Gordon that if you have lots of streamers that you like, and you don't want to pay $5 a month for each of them, or you don't want to only pick one with Amazon Prime, you can get Twitch Turbo, which I have. And it's $9, $10 a month for everything. So every streamer you go visit, no ads, all video on demand, no ads, and it's endless. And Twitch doesn't tell you about it because they don't want you to know. But the old timers who've been on Twitch for a long time have Nitro or Turbo or whatever they're calling it now. And they say that's the real secret to getting a lot out of Twitch. There's so many things to discuss today, so I'm a little bit in a fog. Now, as you can see, scab number 2 has fallen off, which is this one. That fell off today, I guess, in the shower. The other one, this one from yesterday, fell off after the shower. So we have one left. Tomorrow is 1 week. And if I were going today, my doctor would scrape this scab off and make it bleed because he wants to see underneath it. So I'm glad I'm seeing him not this week, but next week. Because I should be all healed by then. And no more pain. And I'm reminded of a friend of mine. Back in high school, his name is Dan. Very tall. And tall people are usually very popular in school. But Dan was just, I don't know, shy, I guess. Not really an athlete. So if you're tall and you're an athlete, it helps. But he was just tall and kind of a nerdy guy. But very nice. And he had this sort of, I guess, now we realize an affliction, where he would pick at his scabs on his forearms and secretly eat them. Now, I now understand that's a thing. That is a psychological thing. But back then, when you're young and a kid in elementary school and junior high, it's like, oh no, here comes Dan with his scabs. What's for lunch? And he was embarrassed about it. And once you start having, like, he had like 5 open sores on each forearm, right? He would go up and look at him and say, oh, the lunch menu today is 3 scabs and 1 bloody wound. I'm not saying it was me, because I'm a little more couth than that, maybe. And so what he would do is he would, as they would scab over, pick off the scab, and it would start bleeding and create a new scab. So he had an endless supply of scabs that he would eat. And sometimes you could tell he would try to stop, and they would heal, and then his scars from all of that scraping and eating would turn into white scars like this that I have on my face from my skin cancer. So I hope he's grown out of that. I saw him once on campus at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and he seemed like he was over that. At least he had long sleeves on, which he never wore long sleeves because he needed constant access to feeding his hunger. And he seemed much more calm, so I hope he got that fixed. But back then, I don't think people knew that, that was sort of a psychological disorder. They just thought he was weird and gross. But I hope his parents stepped in and helped him a little bit. Now we have something new that's going on. Yesterday, I was creating a Human Meme podcast episode from my story that I told yesterday about our deaf friend who's been scammed. I need to get the word out there in the deaf community that this scam is going on. And when you upload your Human Meme podcast to Facebook and YouTube, they get captioned automatically, which is great. So I was cutting that up and putting it together, and I just, as an old radio guy, I didn't like how the noise suppression wasn't really working. When the air conditioner turned on, you could hear it. When the fan was on, you could hear it. It's like, oh. Now I can run noise suppression plugins after the fact, but that tends to muffle and muddy music. So I thought, oh, just leave it. If it's fine enough for the broadcast, it's fine enough for the podcast. And then I was thinking in the afternoon, well, there has to be another way. And I notice outside our window, they're getting ready to build the hotel condo complex, which is like half a block outside of our window. And you can see they have all the machinery lined up, piled up, to start driving footers into the ground. And that is like a thump, 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 all day. And then when they're done with that, because Jersey City, Hilltop neighborhood is built on bedrock, they're going to use TNT to blast their way down so they can pour the actual footing of the, I guess it's a convention center. So that's going to be a lot of noise. And there are video tutorials where you use this noise gate and this noise suppression and with this, and there's a guy who's talking on the microphone and his girlfriend is 5 feet behind him with their hairdryer going, and he turns on all his stuff and you can't hear the hairdryer. Oh, it's amazing. Now that's a lot of work. Now we don't have just a hairdryer. We have the air conditioner, we have the pounding, we have the keyboard tapping, we have the mouse clicking, we have the PC, which is right here. I'm touching it right now. It's that close. Where else am I going to put it? Doesn't fit on the floor. So it's all very noisy and very nasty and very upsetting to me. So I'm browsing around on Reddit with all of my hundreds of subreddits. And in one of the forums, I'm just reading, and this says, oh my goodness, look at this. How to get rid of noise on your live stream. I thought, well, that sounds like an interesting topic. I've only read 1,000 things about it. And the thing has always been is, you can use in Streamlabs their filters, and it can be a hardware filter or GPU filter or whatever kind of filter that they use. And it works, but they say, boy, you're going to take a big CPU hit. Because to do live noise suppression removal is very taxing on your system. That's why most people like to do it after the fact in something like Adobe Audition. Hey, there's our friend. Nice to see you. I got a notification you were streaming very, very early this morning. It sounds very delightful. And yesterday, Commissioner Gordon asked you a question about your name. Maybe he'll ask you again. How's it going? It's going well. My scabs are falling off. How are you? I'm not eating my scabs, though, as I was telling in an earlier moment of this story. So we're trying to solve our noise suppression problem. And if you have any questions, just ask me, or just go. If you have something you want to share or talk about, just put it up there. And people start talking about, well, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, the GTX, whatever, that I haven't had, whatever, that style of video card has noise removal, meow meow, all embedded in the card itself. And it's built to use the, I'm going to say inbred, GPU on your graphics card to do all kinds of noise removal and other things. And I said, well, that's interesting. How does it work? So I followed some links and found out that I do have the great graphic card. And the program, the app for Windows, is called NVIDIA Broadcast. And I have, in fact, enabled it and tested it yesterday to see if it works with my Elgato Wave 3 microphone. And it did, and I believe it does. And I think you can hear me. And I turned on the air conditioner, and it removed all of that awful sound. Now, I have it set all the way to the top, so if I'm getting cut off, or if I stop speaking for 5 seconds and then I start speaking again, and my first syllable it gets removed, I might have to lessen it a little bit. But it's very noisy in here. And me talking, I can hear all of this noise around here because I'm not hearing the filtered, removed noise. So, my friends, theoretically, I should sound magnificent. Now, NVIDIA Broadcast also does noise removal from your speakers. So if you're listening to like an old movie or an old audio recording, it will remove it actively while you're listening to it. That's kind of interesting, very new. And then they also have a camera beta on NVIDIA Broadcast, and all of this is going through the NVIDIA graphics card. So that it doesn't put any stress on your system, your CPU usage, which is true because I'm looking at it right now and it's very low. And the camera will remove noise from the picture. So I set that up. I said, hey, Streamlabs, use NVIDIA Broadcast for noise suppression. And let's use the NVIDIA Broadcast version, filtered version of my Elgato Facecam. Now, turning on camera noise, which is active right now, and there's a lot of noise behind me. All that black that's noise. And what it does is it sort of blurs it very, very slightly. Now, as I look at my beautiful face, I look especially beautiful today compared to yesterday, because I'm now being noise reduced. Wrinkles, scabs, facial impurities. We're calling it noise reduction now. But it's true. Now, as I tested this, it looks to me like that setting on Zoom, which I really love, where you can click to say, make yourself slightly beautiful. You can go at 0 and then go all the way over. I make myself beautiful on Zoom just a little tiny bit. And what it does is just this. It just kind of blurs everything around here. Your wrinkles are not as deep. Your scabs are not as bright red as they should be. And so I accept. And I can use this NVIDIA Broadcast. I look over here because that's where the app is now. I see if it's active or not. And what the most amazing thing is you turn on this speaker one, right? And it has air conditioning.wave and a person speaking with air conditioning on your speakers. This is not recorded or your microphone. And it says, it's hard to hear me through the air conditioning. Turn on noise suppression for your speakers and see what happens. And you turn it on and it's like, where'd the air conditioning go? That's amazing. And there's one with typing too. And it removes all the typing. So this is supposed to be very sophisticated. People really, I could not believe the love that people were expressing for NVIDIA Broadcast. And I'm thinking, how did I not know about this before? And I guess it's because not everyone runs an NVIDIA card. Because I guess they're high-end and sort of expensive, and it has to be the GTX version that has the onboard such and such and this and that. And so when I saw it, I said, well, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it's so funny, starting this live stream, I always try to wait for the big air conditioner right there to turn off before I start because it can be noisy. But now, I don't have to really worry about it too much because it just turned on again 1 second ago. And while it's very loud in my headphones, it's not necessarily that loud, at least in yesterday's offline testing, as part of the live broadcast. Now, before we started the show, Gordon got in on it earlier. And let me see if I can, how much of this will pin. Why? Is it possible to pin? Most of it. The commissioner said, it's amazing what we will do for a digital badge. He was sort of giving me a hard time about my no tulip badge. As you can see right there, it's very beautiful. That is my Amsterdam TwitchCon ticket badge, which I love having, thank you. Peloton, and I love Peloton. I know they're having trouble now, but when they started, they were fabulous. Peloton announced earlier this year that they were going to have a few workouts featuring songs from Taylor Swift's recording of her record Red. Okay, cool. And if you do at least 5 workouts the first week, you get this badge. I'm all for a badge. I'll do anything for a little badge. Guess who did 7 workouts to be sure he'd get them? Well, it wasn't me. It was Commissioner Gordon. And I do congratulate him on that. Because badges rule, man. And then Commissioner Gordon complained about the advertising. 9 straight ad breaks. I do that on purpose. When I first start this stream, the Twitch starts the ad. And then before I sit down and start the stream, I say, hey, let's run some ads, get them out of the way so I don't get interrupted. So I'm in charge of the advertising. And this is what I use as my workout app. I've used a lot of them. I used to use Whoop. Never used Fitbit, but Whoop was really very difficult to use. But the thing that I use is, I call it Fit IV. I have a feeling that it's Fitiv, F-I-T-I-V. Everything. Apple's charging everything on my American Express card. Meow. And this is my little cardio workout from this morning. Now, because I'm on blood pressure medication, I should be in the red zone for 20 minutes, but I can't get up there because it's impossible when you're on blood pressure medication because it pushes down your heart rate. And you try to fix it and get things, and they don't care. So this is the full thing. Now, the great thing about Fit IV is it works great with Apple Health. It works fantastic on my watch, my Apple Watch. So if anything I do, if I go for a walk, if I do a little yoga session, kettlebells, cardio, I start it all on my watch, and it will even use voice and tell me, you've been walking for 1 mile, and your heart rate is 85 beats per minute. Oh, Mr. Gordon's back. All right, so when I click on my face, Ethereum is up 5% to 1,200, which is disaster, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I get an update on my cool badges and my challenges. So I get badge after badge after badge. And Fit IV, maybe a year ago said, hey, what do you want out of this? And then they had this whole big section talking about badges. Do you like badges and awards? And I went through and said, yes, yes, on everything. I want a badge for thinking about a badge. And then they made this big change in everything that you do in the app, as small as it might be. It gets you a badge. And I'm going to show you some of my badges because I'm very proud of them. And you try to get the highest workout badge of the month, which is the GOAT badge, which they don't call it a GOAT badge because they wanted to surprise you, but I've reached that milestone several times. 1,000 workouts, limited edition, Hall of Fame, buns of steel, badge after badge. You get a badge for everything. And to that I say thank you. And I would, would I like more? Yes, I would like more. I would like as many badges as possible. But not a Taylor Swift badge. I'm not really a Taylor Swift fan. Because I think she's hiding who she really is. But that's a conversation for another time. These are my other badges, see? I have badge after badge after badge. And Christmas was really fun because every day was like a new Santa badge, which probably doesn't interest Gordon very much. But if you're into badges and collecting them, you can collect them all. So that was a big fun surprise that the badges are working. Now I have to turn Twitch back on and make sure that my captions are working. Because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And you never know unless you watch. Yes. Oh, I love that. Very good. The captions appear to be alive. And noise suppressed. So here's a wonderful little piece of art that I'll share with you today that I call subway art. And yes, it is art in the subway, and yes, Jana Marie took a picture of it. A little video that I'm going to share with you right now. And it's 17 seconds. But what are you going to do? It's fun. I love the sound. I love that she takes the time to share this with us. And it was hard to do, she said, because there was a pole involved. And a person who was kind of in the way, so she had to shoot around them, as the kids say. But it looked good, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm watching it on the big TV. That's very good, because it's tearing here on mine. We'll watch it again, because we like to have fun. Ah, the sounds of the subway. It's all coming at you. That's so cute. I love that they're putting in these art installations. It can be a very difficult thing to try to get something beautiful working out there. Oh, and here's our lymphedema video. Let's just show that for fun. This is our friend who's in the hospital. Getting her lymphedema wrapped. And she sent this to us to show what's going on. And she's out of the hospital, out of rehab, back home. We hope exercising and keeping the lymphedema down. But it can be very challenging. And our friend said that when they do this, they massage her legs. It's a big process. Speed it up here, of course. And she always falls asleep because it feels so good to get the relief from her legs. Then she says that her nurse would tickle her feet when she was done to wake her up, say, I'm done, you can do whatever you want to do now. Now, I thought you didn't want to wake up a sleeping person in a hospital, but what do I know? I don't have a nurse's badge. And on that note, we're taking a brief break and returning in a moment. And we are back, live and in person on Boles.tv. BOLES.tv as in television. And we are here with you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Live. Pretty much. So we were talking about the NVIDIA broadcast, and I thought, well, why am I not showing a little bit about that? So here is what a Google search brings up when you look at it. And these are we'll go to the main page, which is very lovely and well designed. But these is always interesting on a Google search. What are people saying about this? What does NVIDIA Broadcast do? From NVIDIA Broadcast is an app that transforms any space into a home studio, upgrading standard webcams and microphones into premium smart devices through the power of AI. What do regular people think? Windows Central. Should I use NVIDIA Broadcast? Well, this is a year ago, if you spend any amount of time looking into a camera, or speaking into a microphone, you should absolutely get NVIDIA Broadcast. Even if you already have a setup for your audio and your camera, you'll probably find that just the noise cancellation alone on this app is unlike anything you have ever used in your entire life. I agree. Finally, do you need RTX to use NVIDIA Broadcast? From Pocket Lint of this year, a couple of months ago. NVIDIA Broadcast is an app designed to help improve quality of your video broadcasts and calls for free with one caveat. You need to be using an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060, Quadro RTX 3000, Titan RX, Meow, or better graphics card. If you tick that box, then there's good news. Because this app is stellar. And it is. So here's how NVIDIA themselves sell it to you. And it's free download. I don't know why it's, not bundled with the video card. Well, maybe it is. Mine, I bought everything from Dell, so they just put it. I said, They said, what do you want? And I said, this is what I want. They said, okay, we'll put it in there for you. And I have it's GeForce RTX. That's what I have. Something. This has a light inside the box. I can read it. It's very cool. So this is the setup. NVIDIA Broadcast. Download it right now. You can see the broadcasts in action. But we're not going to because I get in trouble because that's YouTube. Here's the noise removal I was telling you about. Really works well. Especially in a very noisy room. Oh, you can also change your backgrounds. You can blur your background like on Zoom or add a game, I guess, if you're playing that. That would be fun, right? Or you can just remove the background and just sit there. But if you tend to fidget or if you're signing, forget virtual backgrounds. Nobody can handle it, including NVIDIA, because I did test it yesterday. Auto frame time to shine. Now that, I admit, is very interesting. And I did test this yesterday. And what it does is, normally we have a big screen, right? HD. Well, it makes the screen very tiny. And then when you move, you stay in that little tiny screen. It's kind of cool. Like if you were doing exercise workouts or something and you're going back and forth, or just moving or picking up a weight, putting it down, the camera, the software, the AI will follow you. Video noise removal, picture perfect. That's exactly what we're working with here. Now, can you see the difference here? Not really. I don't think it's very clear. I'm not sure which one's the noise and which one is the removal. But I do notice that our background here, when I went on break, it looks a little fuzzy. I don't remember it being fuzzy like that before. I guess it's trying to remove the noise, which makes everything just a little blurrier. And to get started, download the app, you install it, you pick your camera, you pick your microphone, and you're done did. Really fabulous. Hey, yesterday, we talked about the odd and disastrous reveal of the Mi 6 avatar. And 2 months ago, you could buy a NFT from the Mi guys, and they're on 6 million servers, Discord servers, so they have a popular bot. And they're messing everything up. The reveal yesterday, they were supposed to do the re-reveal from Sunday. They said, oh, we made some mistakes. Monday, do the reveal. 2 hours after the reveal was supposed to happen, one of the founders gets on and says, oh, we want to make sure we get the avatars right this time. So they're not coming today. They're coming 2 days from today. Everybody knew they were going to miss the deadline. They haven't hit one deadline. So now it's supposed to be Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, we'll see. And here is one of the regulars, Grape Ape, in the Mi form, explaining what's going on and why and what happened. And it's interesting analysis. You know, we got the placeholder ERC 1155 NFT, right, at the mint. Then airdrop the passes. All that's coming. The passes have the Web3 stuff on it, the crypto stuff. And then there's a separate, they split the NFT into two, and the other is just an avatar, which people say they don't care about, but I guarantee you people care right now more about the avatar than they do about what's coming in Web3. Then the avatar drop was delayed, then avatars dropped, but reveal delayed because they were working on the RNG function on Chainlink to implement provably random avatars. They were not random. But there was a problem with randomness. A crown always had a particular mouth. As I told you yesterday, the cowboy hat always had a pink mustache. So they rolled back the reveal, which means they took away everyone's avatars. I have all of mine because I saved them. They rolled back the reveal of the avatars, and that's where we are now, 48 hours from yesterday. And then he goes on to explain what else has been going on. Mi 6 had a security breach where a support person was phished, and their Discord auth token was snagged. The attackers used that to get into lots of other server dashboards, where they set up a reaction role with Mi 6 to grant admin rights on servers. Complicated, interesting, clever, and cunning. From there, they use those privileges to phish people with a fake mint, stealing ETH from people. Big problem, very bad OPSEC. Lots of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The team decided not to do a postmortem and, in effect, not to feed the FUD. Gordon says, did you say that we are 48 hours from yesterday? I did not say that. Grape Ape said that. And he posted that at 7:57 a.m. this morning. He means tomorrow at 5:30. That's what he means. The biggest points of pain for the team that everyone agrees on is communication. Now, we talked about this yesterday, too. I said these are nerdy guys, two of them. They know how to design a bot. 6 million popular. Gordon says that makes sense. But they don't know how to talk to people. Their philosophy is we're going to work on it until we get it right, although they have never done that yet in the past 2 months. They need to hire a communications person. And they do have PR people who have been communicating with us. I think the communication is the problem with the guys, that they don't know how to talk to their PR people. Because the PR person who's been talking to us has been fine. The biggest pain point for the team that everyone agrees on is communication. The founders have not dedicated anyone with actual knowledge of what's going on to communicate with holders. I don't think that's right. Because of that, the community, the Discord server people, feel disconnected and slighted by the founders. There have been numerous delays, which even according to Brendan, who is the guy I spoke to and have spoken to, and who has not returned my messages, according to Brendan, is getting memeable, meaning that people are starting to make fun of the Mi 6 people. WRC and mods don't have much more info that holders, and more likely they don't have any more info that we do. Because of that, it feels like the guys, by and large, don't interact with chat. True, because they are basically attacked when they do, which is true, and they do deserve it because they don't communicate. So then they try to communicate and they're attacked for not communicating. Poor Jerry, who is one of the mods, has been the whipping boy and deserves half the mint proceeds. And that's another thing, is after the mint, the guys decided to cash out 500 Ethereum, and do the math on that. 3,000 times 500 is what? $100 million. I don't know. And they went on vacation for 2 weeks. And people are saying, wait a minute, you just finished the mint. Where are our avatars? Where's our NFT stuff? Our Web3 stuff? Why haven't you delivered that? And it became clear that they did the sale of the NFT, cashed out into US dollars, went on vacation, and then decided to come back and get started on all this stuff. So they didn't have any of it ready. They were selling a promise, not a guarantee. My personal opinion, Grape Ape says, is that the founders are not rugging, which means they're taking your money and splitting, as the kids say. They just view their role differently than most holders. They want to be on the back end, right, and have someone else communicate. That's not unusual. What's unusual is the person that is charged with communicating doesn't have a direct line to what's going on. I'm not sure about that. Founders have stated they are hiring a Web3 team project manager, and part of their duties will be to communicate, but they've run into delays finding someone who fits. Now, I've seen PR people, I think his name is Escrew, E-S-C-R-U, in there talking and giving information and talking to the founders. You can't make a PR person make other people speak if they don't want to speak. And I don't think Brendan and Anis, I believe, A-N-I-S, I don't think they want to talk. I think they want to be left alone and get the stuff done. And my opinion is they don't care about the avatars. They care about the Web3 stuff. So they're putting all their time and effort into getting the Web3 stuff ready. And the first plugin is supposed to be here in a week or two. And it's some kind of crypto plugin, meaning that you can use that to show off your NFTs, not that you're going to be buying anything or mining anything. At least that's what my understanding is. But who knows, because it changes every day. Now, this I was talking to you yesterday. Someone reposted this morning. And people are saying, because there are people who have not been here for a couple of days, and they missed the whole, here's your avatar, and then 3 hours later saying, oh, by the way, we're taking them all back. So there are people who never got to see their original avatar. I have all of mine. I have 5 of them. And this, someone posted this morning, is the one that everyone considers the biggest disaster. The avatar within the avatar. And I have one of them, and I'll remind you of what that one is after we look at this. The laser eyes inside the man with the top hat. And I guess every avatar is supposed to have a mouth, eyes, and eyebrows. Okay, no nose. So the avatar inside has the eyes with the laser eyes, but they're not coming out of the eyes. So are the laser eyes supposed to be up here on the big one? And what are these things right here? Are those eyebrows? Do the eyebrows belong to the small one? I think so, but then they hear eyebrows up here on top. And I think that's a cigarette. Now, this is a total and complete mess. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of funny. And as I said on the forum yesterday, and in the live stream, I hope you guys saved your original avatar, because that's where the real money's going to be. Those that were not good enough and were replaced. And you can go and mint them on OpenSea because they belong to you, even though they were taken away later. And here's another one with a Viking hat and some kind of sunglasses and a mouth. So the mouth belongs to the big head. What does the small inside avatar have? Or are the glasses for the small avatar? Nobody knows. This is a bunny hat. And you could buy these. You can see these are the prices. Very cheap. A bunny hat over a big blue star background with what appears to be sunglasses on the smaller with the digital mouth. Here again is the Viking with the small with the mouth open, right? This is where people get very upset because the Viking hat has an open mouth. The Viking hat has an open mouth. They don't think that's random enough. Okay. It doesn't really bother me, but what do I know? I'm just a big dumb guy. So those are examples of what everybody really, really hated. And this is the one that I got on the secondary market because I thought it was kind of cute. I like the pirate hat. I like the red feather. I like the wavy background, which you can see is kind of popular. I don't know what they call this, wavy background, bubbles background. I don't know. And the me, inside the me nobody knows. Great musical, in case you don't know. With the eyebrows and the eyes and the mouth, it's all there. Okay, right. So this mouth must belong to the big me. And these eyebrows here must belong to the big me. So they should be up here. But maybe that doesn't work if you have a hat. So I guess people who know more than I know say these are just very basic problems with programming that create collision episodes that are inexcusable. And I think it's very difficult to try to figure out how to make all of this work. And then here's the news today, which I find very interesting, that Google searches show an 88% fall in interest in buying NFTs, which is fabulous for people who are collecting and terrible for our friends who are trying to sell. Excuse me. Being hotboxed by our neighbor. And this is all because of the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, there were 15 crypto ads. People who don't know anything went to these exchanges, put a little bit of money in, and now crypto is falling. Then they're getting out, and they never bought anything. They've lost all their money, and they're upset. Look, things change. Things get corrected. It's fine. It's a time to buy. Everything is down. That's a good thing, unless you're a seller. Hey, there's our friend. I'm just here making some supper. Now that's very interesting. Because of where you said you are from, supper is a Midwestern thing. Nobody I know calls supper, which I believe in my upbringing from Nebraska in the Midwest is dinner. But I love supper. Now, do you say soda? Do you say pop? Do you say soda pop? Do you say soft drink? Then we're going to know who you really are. Based on your drinking habits. And we know about the Prosecco. We remember. But I love seeing supper. Fantastic. And so they have done this research on Google searches on what people are looking to find out about. And people are losing interest in NFTs, which is really bad for the creators. Hey, I'm living in Singapore. Time is weird here since back home is right now 3:57 in Switzerland. Very interesting. I hope you have a wonderful supper. So Google Trends data indicates that interest in non-fungible tokens among internet users across the globe has reached its lowest since October 2021, which is not even a year ago. A far cry from what was prevalent at the peak of the craze in early 2022 during the Super Bowl. Okay. Search interest for the term buy NFT has nosedived to its lowest levels as compared to the term sell NFT since the first week of October, according to worldwide data. I am normally up late until 11 p.m. You must be young, because as I get older and older and older, I find everything past 7:30 at night, I'm ready to go to bed. And I remember when I was very young, in college, hearing about my aunt and uncle. They were Army people. I said to my cousins, well, what time should I call them? Like 11 o'clock at night. 11, is that okay? And they were like, no, you can't call them at 11 o'clock at night. They go to bed at 10. And I said, I remember, very dramatically, 10? I'm just waking up at 10 p.m. And those are the days when I was watching the original David Letterman show and staying up till 1 or 2 in the morning, and then getting up at 6 a.m. and going to class. Those are the days when you could survive on 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Now that you're old, 7:30, might be time to get ready to go to bed. My Aura ring, which I wear, but I hurt my finger, my Aura finger, using kettlebells. My Aura ringer gives me a notification every night at 7 p.m. It's time to start preparing for bed. Because they want to give you 2 hours of wind down. And Jana Marie is teaching at 7 o'clock at night, so she's in the middle of teaching, and her Aura ring says, Jana, you're a little too active. You need to start getting ready to go to bed. And she gets home, 8:30, and they want her in bed by 9. Hey, Gordon says, this morning, Apple congratulated me on getting 6 hours of sleep. Oy, oy, oy. That's very, very good. If you can get 6, you're okay. If you're going under 6, it can be a little bit of a problem. I try to shoot for 7, but I get up super early. That's the big difference. I get up super early. I used to get up very late and stay up very late. I prefer it that way. It's easier. There's nothing in the world like 4 in the morning, I tell you. It's quiet, it's reserved. The world belongs to you. So the search interest is dropping for NFTs. People are worried. The price is going down. Only bad things are happening. It's all on your point of view. There are hardcore investors who are waiting for Bitcoin to hit its lowest low. And the same for Ethereum. And they just can't wait to go out there and buy it all up. It's very, 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 and then hold, and then you hold for a year or two. These are not people who are interested in flipping. And the problem with NFTs is people bought thinking that they bought for $100 and they think, oh gosh, I'm going to make so much money, I'm going to flip it for $300 and sell it tomorrow. That's not the way NFTs work. I mean, if you have a lot of money and you're buying something like a Bored Ape, you could get something like that back. Maybe. But really, there are only, in my opinion, 2 stable crypto coins. And they're Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything else is garbage. And I have some Litecoin. I have some other thing. Not Solana. Not Luna. Those are terrible. I don't remember what it is. Pennies. But I have it. And I was reading from a friend the other day about the Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? They did an airdrop of $APE, which is the S coin, and the S is the S word, the S coin from the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And you're supposed to use that money to buy stuff in that universe, but they don't have anything to buy. So people are very upset that they were airdropped all this money. A friend said that he got when it was first dropped, $365,000 is what that airdrop was worth, in addition to the value of his Bored Ape. And he could have turned around and sold that for US dollars and made a lot of money. But he decided to hold it, and because maybe you want to buy some land and the Board Op Yacht Club, whatever. And now, as of 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, Gordon, my friend said that $365,000 has dropped to $50,000. And he's very, very, very upset. He says, I should have sold. And so now everybody's saying, well, don't do anything. Don't sell for $50,000. Just hold on to it for another couple of years. Oh, yes, Gordon's following up on this. And we knew this was going to happen. Seth Green pays $260,000 ransom to get back his stolen Bored Ape Ethereum NFT. And I have to say that Seth really got ripped off. And he absolutely did the right thing. He could have tried to sue the guy to get it back because it was stolen, and the person who had it, Dark84, whatever the name was, said, I bought this righteously on the market, and then you go in and you have to make new law and go around and around and around. It would take years to get it solved. And in the meantime, Seth has a whole TV show that he created and invented starring his Bored Ape, which he no longer has the rights to use because it was stolen from him. So what do you do? Seth did the right thing. The only thing. He went to that guy who has his stolen ape and said, I'll buy it from you for $260,000. And he got it back. And he could have spent 3-4 years trying to get it back. Maybe getting it back, not getting it back. So did he pay a ransom? Yes. And it reminds me of what the FBI would tell people, these small businesses, hospitals, saying, look, somebody broke into our network. They've locked all of our files. They want $50,000 in ransom, and they'll unlock it. And we don't think they're going to unlock it, and we want you, the FBI, to step in and arrest them. And the FBI had a very frank conversation with these people, which is, again, very smart, saying, look, we don't know who they are. They're probably in Russia. They will, if you pay the ransom, they will unlock your files. Because if they have this reputation of locking your stuff, getting paid, and then not unlocking it, it's bad for their business. It's bad for everybody doing that. So that's why everybody keeps everybody else in check in the criminal world of breaking in and encrypting files. So the FBI said to save time, money, heartache, pay them in Bitcoin and get your files back and then lock down your server. And I thought that was very, very interesting advice. That's from like 2 or 3 years ago. Just pay them what you want. It's a mistake you made. Get over it and get it done. And clearly, Seth Green or someone in his group made a terrible error by leaving his ape exposed. Somebody was able to get in there and either steal it from him or buy it at a reduced price through some kind of theft or misunderstanding. So it's really on Seth for losing his ape in the first place, because if he had locked it down properly, no one could have touched it. So he learns a $260,000 lesson, but he gets his ape back, and he gets his future back, which is very smart. And now we're going to take a very brief blood pressure break. We have more to talk about, around, inside and out in a moment. And we are back, live and in person, on Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. We're using NVIDIA Broadcast to suppress our noise and to make our picture look just a little bit better, with less video noise. I like that NVIDIA is about getting rid of noise. It's very fabulous. And I'm out there looking, I'll take pictures, I think, later today of the condo hotel twin towers that are coming half a block from us. It's going to block our whole view, westerly. But it'd be good because if ever anybody visits us, we put them right in the hotel, because that's really the only hotel that will be around here. We have a Ramada Inn a couple of blocks away, but it's not the highest quality. While we were gone, Gordon said, do you ever drink soda? In the United States, some people call it soda, some people call it pop, and some people call it soda pop. The soda company, Coca-Cola, in Atlanta, has partnered with a company that makes Jack Daniel's whiskey. And they will sell pre-mixed Jack and Coke. For adults only, of course. Now, that is very interesting from a branding point of view, because Coca-Cola is supposed to be for everybody. So, you know, Coke is going to appear somewhere on that label. And you're going to have that in the refrigerator, and the kid's going to say, well, I would like to have some of that. And if mom and dad aren't around, bad things could happen. But here's another thing that I don't understand is the amount of Jack in a Jack and Coke varies by people. Some people like a lot of Jack, and other people not so much. So how are they going to split that difference? It's going to be something very middle tasting, I would imagine, so they don't offend people. Because Coca-Cola is a very valuable brand. I'm a little surprised they're doing it. But I guess it makes sense. Just buy it already mixed together. Well, now, I'm going to show you an image that is hard to take. So, look away if you don't like gore. Hey! This is how the kids won't mistake it. Don't put anything by the kids, Gordon. Oh, I'm not sharing. I'm looking, but I'm not sharing. Look, but don't touch. I guess that's the phrase. Here it is, Jack Daniel's old number 7 brand cola. Tennessee quality, a perfect mix of whiskey and cola. Now, have they said it's actually going to be Coca-Cola, or is Coca-Cola just making it? Because I can't imagine that Coke wouldn't want their brand on something that they're making. But if they're just making a generic cola for Jack, that makes sense. The perfect mix, that will be very interesting. 7% alcohol, which is pretty good. That'll get you there, as the young kids do not say. So, speaking of things that might make you a little nauseous or sick in the stomach, I'm going to show you an image of melanoma. Now, I've had 5 melanomas, as I've talked about repeatedly here this morning. One here. Dug out. Divots in my face. Gordon is standing corrected. Now, this is, we need to alert the media, because this is the first time this has ever happened, where Gordon has self-corrected. You are right. Oh! Alert the media. Here is the new real art. That was old, not coca art. Let's see what Gordon is giving us. Oh! Now this, to me, I like the other one better, where it's just kind of generic. Now this is this. This is going to confuse the kids. The ready-to-drink product market is growing and could represent as much as 8% of the broader alcohol market by 2025. One industry outside. Now, the whole White Claw thing, the true, where it's not vodka, but it's some kind of invisible white stuff to get you there, all of that failed. True destroyed millions of cans, which I didn't understand. Gordon says people read top to bottom, so they'll be seeing Jack before Coca-Cola. Yes, but the children are shorter than adults, so the children will be reading the Coca-Cola first. And Coca-Cola's in red. I think it's very dangerous, but I think that's okay. Why not live a little dangerous? Parents also need to parent. Well, Gordon, if that were true, if parents parented, we wouldn't have a lot of problems. But a lot of parents don't seem to be very interested in that for some reason. For a variety of reasons, I imagine. So when you have good parents, that's something to be very celebrated. But bad parenting can seep over into good kids. That's the concern. Jack and Coke fans, see, that's it. It's Jack and Coke. That's the meme. It's not Jack and a cola. Gordon says, I mean, we have a few cans of hard seltzer in the fridge, and the kids do not touch because they know. Very good. And I do like the hard seltzer. I think it's very delicious. I like the idea of it. But I've been told if you have to drink alcohol and you want to be safe for your body, the safest thing to do is drink vodka. Now, here's an interesting thing that I've just reminded myself of. And this was revealed inadvertently by Arnold Schwarzenegger in kind of an offhanded remark. But if you were paying attention and you know his history, he gave you the secret to how he won all of those early bodybuilding contests. And he won a lot of them by having a more beautiful body, but by psychologically freaking out Franco Columbu and Lou Ferrigno, who were at the time his two biggest competitors. And he always beat them. He always said something to them. He knew what buttons to push. But he also had well-defined big muscles. And Arnold said, and he's had some heart problems, so he did a little damage doing this. But Arnold said the secret to putting on muscle and mass, this is way back in the 60s, right? And we know this, but Arnold said was a lot of protein powder. Not just chicken, but he would, in the 60s, had protein powder. And he revealed that the fastest way to pack on the protein powder to get the biggest gains, and it makes sense, is to not use water or milk or soy milk to mix with your protein powder. You use vodka. And he's Austrian, so it's kind of part of his culture, but this is something he said that he figured out. And when you mix the protein powder with the vodka, the body absorbs it faster. And our new friend already knows this. Whey isolate protein with vodka. That was new to me. And I guess in the 60s, Arnold's the one who, as he tells it, invented it. That's really amazing. I would find that very hard to take. Because protein, just in a protein drink, can be very hard on your kidneys. And then you're adding alcohol to it. It seems like it would be very difficult. Mr. Gordon said, I wonder if it would work with pea protein. I say yes. And our friend Exis, I believe is how you pronounce it, Exis. Gordon asked you yesterday if it rhymed with Texas. You used to compete, but not anymore, just aesthetics. So do you still take protein powder? Do you take it straight, or do you mix it with some kind of alcohol? Gordon says, as a joke on the TV show 2.5 Men, the alcoholic character had a whiskey while working out. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. They say that it helps with absorption, I guess. I think it would be very hard on your kidneys. Yeah, I do. I mix it with whiskey. Wonderful. Well, there we go. Jack and Coke and protein powder. Mix it all together. It'd be a delicious breakfast. Or a supper. Not excessively. Very good. Oh my gosh. You learn something new. That's why you do a live stream. So you get all the fascinating stuff that you don't know. That people know. And you don't know. That's how you find out. You ask questions. I guess I would have to try that sometime. I just can't imagine what the taste would be like. All right, the good vodka doesn't have a taste. And protein powder have a terrible taste. So I guess you're just taking it like medicine. And that works, I guess. So Jack and Coke fans will soon be able to sip the cocktail at home after Coca-Cola and Jack Daniel's whiskey make a brown form and say they plan to offer it in a can. It depends on the protein powder. Yeah. Yeah, Gordon and I am vegan. Gordon says he's mostly, I think. We try to stay away from anything with milk in it. So the whey, which is what everybody uses, whey is the whey, we can't use that. Brown rice, protein powder, but pea is the king. Really, really fabulous. I use all natural and all this brand like Optimum Nutrition and such. That's good. Optimum, they make good stuff. They have a, I like to say, no way. I'm with you, Gordon. All the way. Ah! Optimum Nutrition has some very interesting stuff. They have a manufactured creatine called CreaPure, which I've written about extensively in bolesbells.com, that is really, really terrific. And you add a little bit of that to your morning coffee or drink or tea or anything, and half an hour later you are big muscles and lots of power. It's really amazing. 5 grams a day. Don't go to 10 or you're going to start getting weight. And it's not really muscle weight, it's more like water weight. Too much creatine. So this official Jack and Coke mix represents the latest push by big soft drink makers into alcohol as boundaries blur and more people turn to pre-mixed, ready-to-drink cocktails. Yeah, I love their shredded products. Now, what does that mean? Shredded means that you're cutting, it helps you cut weight? Is that what that means? And CreaPure, the fake creatine, was invented in Germany. Yep, cutting water weight. Ah, very interesting. Yeah, anytime you go on a diet, the first week, people lose 10 pounds. I'm so happy. I'm going to lose 40 pounds in a month. And then you kind of have to tell them, the first week is all water. The third week is going to be hard. Second week it'll be a little better, but third week you're going to have to really exercise and eat less if you're going to really cut. Jack Daniel's, which already sells, now this is interesting, but I could see the improvement. Well, that's good. And you do eat a lot. That is the secret. If you want to be super healthy, if you eat the right things, you can have whatever you want. But too many people like too many carbs and they like sugar. And there's an old ad I found that I will share tomorrow, if I remember, of this newspaper ad about sugar being the next miracle food. If you eat enough sugar, you don't need anything else. It's a diet wonder. And now they're saying that no sugar is good for you. The artificial sugar, stevia, Splenda, it all causes stomach upset. Sugar is terrible for you. Brown sugar, agave, they say, is filled with corn fructose. There's no sweetener out there that seems to be beloved by any of the doctors. And sometimes they say, don't go for the Coke Zero and the Diet Coke, just go for regular Coke with the bad sugar in it because it's better for you than the fake stuff. So Jack Daniels, which already sells a canned cola cocktail in many markets, and Coca-Cola said in a statement it would begin selling the new drink in Mexico in late 2022. So that must have been the first image that Gordon sent us, just the generic Jack and Cola, and now they have a Jack and Coke. Gordon says Dr. Michael Greger recommends date paste and powdered date. Now that's genius. I didn't even know they had a powdered date. Dates are fantastic. I have to look for that. Make myself a note. Powdered dates. Fabulous. Didn't know it was a thing. But it makes sense. Are there powdered oranges? I've tried the powdered peanut butter. The extra protein in it. Fabulous. You can make it into peanut butter, or you can just add it to your protein drink. And I've got to write that down too. PB Plus, I think is what it's called. And I love nuts, but boy, they're packed with a lot of oil. Pretty good oil, but still a lot of calories. PepsiCo started selling alcoholic versions of Mountain Dew earlier this year. I think I've seen that advertised on Buffalo Wild Wings. It's Mountain Dew, Mountain Green, something. And energy drinks maker Monster Beverage Corp announced a deal to buy hard seltzer producer Canarchy Craft Brewery Collective in January. So that's tough for Pepsi because Pepsi does not have the same kind of brand association with alcohol that Coke does, which is a reality and is sort of sad if you're a Pepsi drinker. And I know people who are, if I had to drink, I don't care which one. People say Pepsi is sweeter, Coke has more bubbles and hurts your mouth. I don't really taste any difference in either one of them. RC Cola is fine with me. That's what I grew up with. But my wife, hardcore Pepsi, 20 years. Then we moved to New York. And New York's kind of a Coke town. She likes Coke better now. But we don't drink much of it anyway. Because it's really just, even if you're getting the zero, it's still just like emptiness trying to fill you up inside. If you need to fill up, get bubble water, what we call it, sparkle water, Perrier, whatever. That will fill you up if you're hungry. Now, earlier we were talking about scabs and eating them and hunger and protein. And now I'm going to show you something as we wind down the show that is disturbing to see. So close your eyes if you don't want to see it. This is melanoma. Now, I've had 5 of them, all surgically removed successfully. And my doctor says, oh, we got it early. It's fine. Don't worry. And I said, well, I'm not really worried. Should I be worried? He said, oh, you don't know about melanoma. And then he goes on to terrify you. How it can infect your organs and move to lymph nodes and become a big problem. So he said, that's why you have to go in regularly. Things that we don't like, we get rid of so it doesn't spread. And then you run into this from the New England Journal of Medicine, which always has the most graphic stuff to make their biggest point. And they show you this melanoma that is on this guy's stomach. And it turns your stomach and it terrifies you because you think, that doesn't look like skin cancer. But it is. So I'm going to show it to you in 3, 2, and 1. Yeah. But it's a wonderful story with a wonderful ending. Targeted therapy in melanoma. Ay, 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 ay. So this is the first. Image A. That is a melanoma. That is a skin cancer on this guy's stomach. And this story goes about how you can treat this sort of unbelievable melanoma with targeted treatment. Medical intervention, lasers, injections, and medication. And it was metastatic. And then here's the second one, right? They've reduced it. Amazing. This big lump here, right here, is almost nothing. And the third one is what they consider pretty much healed. I mean, to go from that to this, now that is the miracle of modern medicine. 10 years ago, I don't think this guy would have survived. But today, because of research and perseverance, they can save someone with that sort of melanoma. You can see the inside of his stomach, where he's pretty much healed and on his way to recovery. So I share that as something to be concerned about, because when we think of melanoma, we usually think of it, something on your face caused by the sun. Well, sometimes they can be in your groin, where you don't know where they are. Sam Donaldson, if you remember him, the toupee-wearing, tough guy reporter for ABC News. And Ronald Reagan tormentor had a melanoma in his groin that was invisible to the eye. And somehow he went in for a routine check, and probably because he was Sam Donaldson of ABC News with a lot of money, his doctor found that malignant melanoma in his groin. And they cut it out and they saved his life. And his doctor said if he had gone another 6 months, he would not have had that result. So check your body, because there are things out there and things growing on you that you might not even know are there. My first melanoma was right here, on the back of my neck. I can't see anything. I didn't know it was there. It was a little rough patch. I put lotion on it. And one day we were out walking in the bright sunshine. And usually Jen is on this side of me because I see better with this eye for walking. But for some reason we had flipped and we were this way. She was on this side of me. And she looked at my neck and she said, "Do you know you have a hole in your neck?" And yeah, you mean a hole in my head? I get it. Okay, funny. No. We know that. The hole in your head. But do you know you have a hole in your neck? I said, "What do you mean?" And she says, "It's like you have a big hole." I said, "No, that's just dry skin." She said, "I don't think so. It's a hole." So I went to the doctor, forced to go to the doctor, and he took one look at it. This is Dr. Katz, my 78-year-old, 80-year-old dermatologist. And he said, "Oh, I don't like that." And I've never seen him that concerned before. Everything else I've had done has been nothing, but that I could see his eyes. And he said, "I think we can get it." And then he proceeded for the next 15 minutes to burn me with his burn stick. And that took about 6 months to clear up. We had to keep digging and expanding, and finally he told me after about 3 months that he got it all and was done. So I was very thankful for that. And then about 6 months after that, I'm watching the Rachel Maddow show, and she's telling a story that her girlfriend, partner, wife, I don't know what it is, they were walking in Massachusetts, and the girlfriend says, "Do you know you have a hole in your neck?" I said, "You mean I have a hole in my neck?" And Rachel said, "What do you mean a hole in my neck?" It was word for word. It was the same conversation. And Rachel Maddow went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "You have malignant melanoma." And Rachel said, "How is that possible?" I said, "You have a hole in your neck." So I don't know how people who are by themselves, who live alone, who are aged, who are young, who are anti-people people, how do they know they have a hole in their neck? Unless they have a hole in their neck. Unless they can somehow see. Because if it's on the back of your neck, there's no way you can see it unless you're looking for it with a mirror. And as I'm rambling on, I remember the hockey game. Remember that? And there was a referee in the hockey game. And there was a young dermatology student who was watching the game, and the referee she was right in the front row, and the glass was here, and the referee got bumped into her view. And then, they have to separate them because they're fighting, and she's looking. And she sees that this referee guy, on the back of his neck, has a hole in his neck. And she was so worried that she called the team the next day and said, this referee, I saw him at the game. I'm a dermatology student becoming a doctor. And your referee has a hole in his neck. He needs to get it looked at because it's cancer, I believe. And they told the guy, thank goodness, I think they were Canadian, so they didn't let it just go. They found the referee. He went to the dermatologist, and the skin doctor said, you have a hole in your neck, and it's malignant melanoma. And it's advanced. And they took care of it, they cut it out, and this guy found this skin doctor student and said, thank you so much for saving my life. And she said, you're welcome, I was very scared for you. It's a beautiful story. Gordon says texture. Gordon says, how to know you're a theater person? That you called it the front row. Absolutely. What do you call that when you're at a hockey game and you're in the front row? The first row? What do you call that? I've never been to a hockey game, honestly. I have no idea. Not my game. But if you have dermatology students giving out free advice and skin checks, I'll go. Because I'll take help from anybody who will offer it. But I love that story. And you feel bad for a guy who either is with someone who doesn't know, or he lives alone and doesn't know he has a hole in his neck. Gordon says, I'm not a sports person either, or enough to know what it's called. Down front. What do you call the first row of a baseball game? I have no idea. Row A, maybe. Gordon says, what I meant by texture is, could you feel the hole? No, there was no hole. And I would put stuff on it every day because I thought, as I told that it was psoriasis, because I looked it up. It maybe felt a little scaly, but I looked it up. I'm my own skin doctor. And I determined myself that it was psoriasis because it had it looked red that I could see, held up a mirror. There was no hole. But Janice said, no, there's a hole. You can put your finger in it. What? And it's funny, when we first moved to Jersey City, we went to our skin doctor, and his wife is a skin doctor as well. And Jana was there seeing her about something on her arm. And I love his wife. She has the most beautiful skin in the world. Right? Makes sense, right? You have the most beautiful skin I have ever seen, and you happen to be a skin doctor. And she's wonderful. He's a little brusque. She's wonderful. And there was something on Jana's arm that turned out to be, it was weird. We thought it was a mole gone bad, but she said, no, it's an insect bite that has turned into something brown and weird looking, puckerish, but it's nothing. And so then I asked her other questions about, me, and then my turn, saw me, we talked about things. And she said to me, well, you know a lot about dermatology. You're asking good questions. You have insight, you know. You could be an assistant dermatologist, skin doctor. Now that was 17 years ago. And so, because of that interaction, especially with my beautiful wife, Jan Marie, I have invoked that several times by saying, well, as assistant skin doctor, I would say meow, meow, meow about anything. The weather, the type of beans we should have for dinner. It was an authority that was bestowed upon me that at the time I believed I deserved. But then in reality later, 10 years later, 12 years later, when I have a hole in my neck and I don't know what it is and I won't go to the doctor until I'm forced to go to the doctor, I feel like I lose some of my authority as assistant skin doctor when I then have 5 melanomas that I did not self-diagnose. But now I know what to look for. But before, if I was something, a skin tag or some kind of mole that I didn't like, as assistant skin doctor, I would just go and, burn it off myself with the freeze spray. The Dr. Scholl's wart remover is great for removing things on your skin that you don't want. They don't have to be warts. And then someone tells you have a hole in your neck and the whole thing changes. And all of your authority, all the non-schooling you did for 12 years goes up in a puff of smoke, phrased in as I told you so. A little heartbreaking to have that kind of reality check. But such is the life of an assistant skin doctor in Jersey City. And that said, I wish I had a little Jack and Coke. Don't even want to mix it myself. I want to crack open a can and have one. I love the idea. But I am scared for the kids because I think it's going to be very popular for those who choose to drink underage in high school. And I believe we have a national drinking age now, right? 21? For years it was, 18, then 21, 18. And the one thing that Judge Judy never understood in all of her years on the bench before she moved to Amazon, where nobody watches her, when she was in syndication making $50 million a year, she didn't understand that we had a national drinking age of 21. And she'd talk about drinking at age 18 and 19 and how it was okay. It was like, why doesn't somebody tell her? It's changed. So to answer Gordon's question, I did not know that I had a hole in my head, and I did not know that the texture was off. Oh, Gordon says, I did not know she had an Amazon show. Yes, I did a big live stream on this several months ago. She was told by Big Ticket, CBS, who was distributing her show, that her coveted 4 p.m. Eastern slot was being given to Drew Barrymore. And Judge Judy said, that's been my slot for 25 years. I'm keeping it. And Big Ticket said, we're moving you earlier in the day. And Judge Judy said, I'm not a daytime judge. I am the afternoon judge at 4 o'clock, where I've made a lot of money for everybody. And CBS said, well, you're moving or we don't have a deal. And Judge Judy said, I quit. And here's where it gets really nasty. Her longtime producer, after that happened, was accused by several people on the show of being sexually inappropriate. Amazon decided to pick her up and put her on Amazon Prime. She changed her robe color from black to burgundy. And the biggest insult of all is she didn't tell Bird, her longtime bailiff, that he was fired or that she had a new show. She didn't tell him anything at all. And there, if you do a search, Hollywood Reporter, Bird the bailiff, it's like a 30-page story about what a terrible, awful, nasty person Judge Judy is. And how horribly she treated Bird, who worked with her every day for 25 years. And now she doesn't know him. She did not invite him on the new show. He did not know about the new show. He's just out. And he's hurt, and we are hurt for him, and it makes us hate Judge Judy. And I used to love her. I had a sex dream about her. I wrote about it in bolesblogs.com. And Gordon says, quoting the Judge Judy book, she peed on his leg and told him it was raining. That's exactly what she did. But if she had just said, Bird, look, the CBS show is ending. I'm taking a lot less money. I think only $25 million a year to go on Amazon. So there's no money for you. I'm changing my robe. We're changing the show a little bit. But it was nice knowing you. If she had done that, which would have been tacky and awful and inexcusable, at least she told him. But he had to find out from reporters who said, hey, what's going on with the new Judge Judy show? And he said, what new Judge Judy show? And you think the way that she talks about Bird, that they're best friends. Oh, Bird, we do all these things together. He understands me. Bird, protect me. Bird, take care of them. Bird, what's your crossword puzzle? Nah, it was all fake. And how much money can you have? I mean, my goodness. She made $50 million a year for at least 10 years. So she said, I have more money I could ever use. All of my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren are taken care of for the rest of their lives. And I just want to raise my hand and say, well, what about Bird? Bird's standing over there. He doesn't have a job. He has a lot of money. But who doesn't want more money when you're Bird? You want to stay on the show. It's part of who you are. It's your identity. It's why people love you and like you. But maybe it's good that he just stayed where he was and didn't follow her to Amazon, because I think it's a big flop. Nobody even knows she's there. Commissioner Gordon in Florida doesn't know where Judge Judy is, and neither does anybody else. She's dropped off the face of the earth. And that is sort of a sweet justice in some way. And now we come to the end of our time together. I will see you in a day or two. You-hoo-hoo. We are here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. So I'll be back tomorrow on Boles TV, BOLES.TV. You can find us on Facebook at Boles, BOLES. Instagram, we are Boles Books. YouTube, video on demand, BOLES.live. On TikTok, we are Boles TV. And hey, on Discord. Join us now, join us forever. Say hi, post something fun. Oops, that wasn't an exclamation point. Boom. Gordon says, thanks for having us. Thank you. Being here, Gordon, is wonderful. Excellent insight. A lot of fun. And we're going to do more of it on the morrow. So have a good nap. Try to sleep well, at least 6 hours. 7 is better. You don't need 8 or 9. Then you get into 9 hours, 10 hours, and that's too much sleep and you're in trouble. But if you're getting 5, it's okay. Slightly dangerous. 6 is better. As a minimum. And when ye shall awaken, may your soul be filled with joy and anticipation for the coming day. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm still here, but I hit the add button. Gordon says, sometimes when I overdo it, on sleep on weekends, it's hard to sleep the next night. Yeah. They say you can't get caught up on your sleep, but I don't think that's true. I think if you take a little nap during the day, 20-minute power nap, which they say is not a thing, but I find them refreshing. Meditation sessions, counting to 10 and back down while holding your breath 10 times. It's wonderful. That you can't make up on lost sleep. I think you sort of can. And sometimes on the weekend, if you want to sleep an extra hour, I think that's just great. But then it makes you stay up because you had too much sleep. It's part of the fun of, I guess, being a human being. And now I say one more time, I'll see you tomorrow. But we can always come back because we have false endings. And we're always in the front row. I will see you again very soon. Let's say sooner than